This is Toby's new £350 jacket that he begrudgingly purchased a few months ago. And this is my new super cheap jacket that I begrudgingly purchased a few months ago. We've been on a mission to compare the two and work out what you get for your money when you fork out 17.5 times the amount for one over the other. The first step was to find a cheap waterproof, so I visited a town and picked the cheapest one available. There were loads in this sale rail, but they were all way past £50 and I wanted the absolute bottom of the barrel. This shopping centre was absolutely useless, as was Trespass. There's not a single thing open in here, it's just one cafe and a closed Wilco. £30, didn't look too bad. It did look quite uncomfortable and quite shiny. I really wanted to be able to get a waterproof with a £20 note, and eventually that is what I found. Secured, that was actually less than the label said. It was $19.99. Because we were helpfully in a drought when I decided to film this, we had no choice but to improvise. So it was off to deepest, darkest Wales we went. Waterproofs in one hand and sun cream in the other.
Words, lots of words, words.
This is the first unboxing, unbagging of the new jacket. It comes in a croissant. So first impressions, the jacket fits quite well actually. It's an XL. I've got a fleece underneath and it's reasonably comfortable.
Quite warm.
Yes, I don't want to wear my waterproof anymore.
Let me just unlock my vents.
Unfortunately, I didn't have any of those, so I had to put up with being a bit sweaty and a bit hot. After many hours of being distracted by mushrooms, trees and red-chested birds, we made it to our first test of the day. This is one of the 4 waterfalls at Istrafelta and the easiest one to stand under without decking it. I then proceeded to deck it, followed by Toby standing under the waterfall in his Rab Kangaroo jacket, and then me in my regatta something or other. I'll admit there was a bit of user error here, as I stood with my head slightly down and Toby with his head slightly up, allowing a load of water to siphon into the jacket via his beard.
How worked out well this?
How did that happen?
Because I turned around and got down here.
As you can see, the cheap waterproof performed absolutely fine. The person wearing it kept their head down and didn't let all the water siphon in through the top. And surprisingly, the fabric is actually 100% fully waterproof, even under a waterfall.
Stop it!
Do that nice and tight. How long will it take you to figure out how to loosen it?
Not very long. There's a button there.
Yes.
I'm not stupid.
Since we didn't get any rain on our first outing, we decided to venture out again. And as you can see, it's absolutely pouring it down. We wandered around for a while, got distracted by lots of mushrooms.
Look, the little Iggle Piggle looking thing.
Oh.
Isn't he cool?
Forgot to say anything about the jackets. Jacket is doing jacketing. And then went home. I didn't give up altogether though, and I went out by myself one final time to try and get some foul weather. That's the equivalent of what I've got on. Every time I've tried to test something recently, the weather has not been on my side, which is why you will have seen earlier in this video that we went under a waterfall. But today, we have the prime conditions. Look at it. It is muddy and wet and horrible. It's a proper storm. It's storm something. I'll put it on the screen. So let's go out for a little walk in and countryside in the cheap waterproof jacket. See how it performs. As soon as the wind picks up ever so slightly and you haven't got it done all the way up, the hood just goes straight off your head. And then as you're walking, you're trying to find the third draw cords and you can't find any because you're looking for them here, which is where they normally are, but they're not. They're up here. And it's okay if you've got 2 hands free, but if you haven't, let's say you've got a walking pole, or I don't know, you're holding a dog lead, you can't really do them up. You need 2 hands for it. And then when you do have it done up, you can sort of see here, this fabric is really stretched and tight. I don't know how well you'll be able to see. It's very shiny. If you're someone that doesn't like wearing waterproofs very much, you won't enjoy it, because as soon as you put it on, it feels like you're already wet. It feels like a paddling pool sort of material. Jesus, that made me jump. Look at that. I imagine most of you, when going outdoors, will be wearing a bag, because when you go outside in your outdoor waterproof, you'll want to carry many things. But one of the things that you can't carry is anything in the pockets, because the hip belt intercepts the pocket. So when you try and get your gloves out, can't really. You have to take the hip belt off and then get your gloves out, and then put the pocket, and then do the pocket back up. And then you'll also notice that the pockets, can you see, they don't have a zip. So when you do have things in them and you're walking along, the pocket is open, and if it's raining, everything will get wet, like I am now. Because of the fabric mentioned earlier being a bit like a tarpaulin, when you've got the hood up you can hear absolutely nothing. I will say it is waterproof so far. Nothing's coming through. The hood, now that it's been adjusted, hasn't blown off. It is partly to do with the fact that I've got a cap on, but I am dry. This is waterproof and I am dry, and it was £20. I don't know if you can ask for a lot more than that. What a stupid idea. A bit, yes. Yes, it did a bit. Can you see that? It is a little bit soggy in there. But I did do press ups into a stream, so.
To test this, we carried out the industry standard see how many malt loaves you can get in each pocket test. Then add more things because you didn't get enough malt loaves, but also do it like you're in an old silent film. The Rab Kangaroo fit 4 malt loaves, a bag of nuts, and a bag of horrible pork scratching things in each pocket, along with 1 loaf on the inner pocket. The regatta jacket would fit 3 malt loaves in each of its pockets, and it doesn't have an inner pocket.
The problem with most waterproofs is that you either get wet from the inside or the outside, and so the job for the manufacturer is to try and find a nice balance. You want something to be totally waterproof, can withstand, you know, pretty much everything, but you don't want to get so wet inside from all your sweat building up. And the problem with these cheap waterproofs is that they focus so heavily on not getting wet from the outside that you get pretty wet from the inside. And if you're using this just for everyday use, you probably won't notice. You won't be kicking up that much of a sweat, but if you do actually buy this, you are going to get wet, but it won't be from the outside, as we've sort of proved so far. It'll be from the inside.